Hello there YouTube, this is Wheelchair21, and on today's rolling review we have Mini-Pla Gattai, Mini-Pla Shuriken Gattai, Volume 3, with the extra Otomonin, Paonmaru, UFO Maru, and Surfermaru. And ironically, yeah, two of these guys came out quite late in the Gattai line, but they came alongside Surfermaru, which isn't that bad, because Surfermaru is one of those like early Otomonin that are kind of weak, doesn't really help the show as much progress, and came in towards, the late teens. And ironically, that's when I kind of stopped watching the show. I'm just not really enthusiastic about it, as a lot of other people are that I know at this time. But, I gotta say, I love the designs of all three of these extra Otomonin, and I really just like how different they all are. It's very unique, that's, I should say, the best way to put it, that how this show uses so many types of different vehicles, animals, and other things to make its mecha combinations. Honestly, there's supposed to be a couple of more, I think, out there, but they haven't really shown up in the show. Or there's not really that many more out there, really, and all the other shurikens just do crazy or stupid stuff in this series. I don't know, supposedly each sealing spell makes a shuriken or some bullcrap like that. Anyways, let's go into each of the animals, then their Otomonin, and then their combined forms. First off, we have Paonmaru, who is actually based on Indian and Hindu beliefs and designs on how elephants are drawn and depicted in their artwork. And I gotta say, this is a very cool way, because we've never really had an elephant that wasn't just a reuse of the Gao elephant or the actual Geki Ranger's elephant. They were practically the same, just a few, differences about them, and then there were mammoths in the past, too, or mastodons. This is actually our first, different elephant, and it's really cool and unique thus far, and it comes with giant axes that's in its ass, so if you ask me a question, I'll show you my ass. That's literally what Paonmaru is. But, nevertheless, the transformation for it is very weird, because it is a parts former. All of these are parts formers, because they all just come apart, as you obviously can see, if the freaking legs would get out of the way. Parts forming. And I'm only going to show this one on camera, because this is actually one of my more favorite Otomins in the show, Otomonin, because of just how it's actually formed and what it becomes, because when you're done transforming him, he's like a giant little buster machine cannon turret thing. And in the show, the CG really helps it, because it gives it more ability to move and flex about. But in the show, it's kind of this stocky little gun cannon kind of thing. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's interesting. I don't think it can stand well, because it's back heavy. Yeah, it's back heavy, so it doesn't really stand well. But nevertheless, it's cool. Paonmaru's specific shuriken reminds me of that of a Beyblade top. All I can say is it reminds me of a Beyblade top, and I like how it has a beard for its faceplate. Yeah, it has a nice little gold beard, which is probably its best aspect of the series thus far. Now, our next Otomonin is UFO Maru, which, honestly, it looks really great. I love the blue and the silver and the gray. It looks real nice. I think it needs just a little bit more stickering, probably at the back here towards the guns, and the bottom part of its torso when it transforms into UFO Maru himself. Honestly, this is my favorite Otomonin one of my favorite Otomins by design for vehicle, but overall robot and combination, not so much. And after transforming your little crazy little freaking UFO Maru, he has these huge ass feet, kind of clown shoes like. I should say, Shurikenjin's gun is on the back of him, where his cockpit goes, is actually the handle. But honestly, he has the nice little head for his little robot body. His feet are kind of crazy and adorable, makes him look like a weird little dwarf-like creature, or a gnome. And I gotta say, I like the gold shimmer, the gleam on the gloss metallic stickering. Really looks nice, and it goes on real great. When I first saw this, actually, for the Mini-Pla version, I kind of thought to myself that this is a nice gold you would want to use for, kind of like an angelic halo. and it looks really nice as like its solar panel. And I think this is one of the actual real stickers I like about it. I think, honestly, all these metallic stickers are great. I just think that there's not enough stickering to go around on this toy because it needs a lot of specific details still etched into it that I think it's missing. Actually, all of them are missing specific details, but nevertheless, his faceplate is more astronautical because it's just one little mono eye, which, you know, I'm like, oh no, it's a Decepticon, run, but you know, it's not. It's really not. Our final one is Surfermaru, who is a mix between a freaking hammerhead shark and a submarine and a surfer, which is kind of interesting. His actual shuriken is a good contrast to a rotor blade, a buzzsaw, and I actually like this one the most. I would probably want this in the deluxe line, just for the actual sword and henshin device to summon. And honestly, it is missing a lot of white throughout its panels, but, you know, I'm pretty sure they couldn't fit all that white stickering onto its actual specific sheet. And honestly, I can show this transformation because this is probably actually the easiest one of them all, because you just pull him off, fold in his wheel, and flip down his surfboard. After flipping down his surfboard, his body's practically done. All you gotta do is just turn his hands around, which actually is a little weird sometimes because it gets caught up because these little pegs on the hands here. I'm thinking it's supposed to be for a future combination, but at this time I don't think there's any combination for the extra Otomonin coming in the near future, supposedly because the final mecha is debuting in the show within the next 10 episodes, but Surfermaru plops down in here, which actually I forgot to take out this nice little peg right here that helps to hold him in place. Once doing that, you got all of your specific Otomonin, which it would be great if they could all stand up on their own, but okay, I got all of them standing for now. Let's get into Shurikenjin, Paon, UFO, and Surfer. Yeah, really, really unique names, eh? They're not. They suck. They're terrible. Yeah, they should be a little bit more creative next time. Shurikenjin Paon, the green Shurikenjin, where Elephant replaces Shinobimaru and Shinobimaru replaces Dumpmaru as the right arm. Pretty much Shinobimaru stays on the right arm throughout all of these combinations. He never moves. He just goes to the right arm. He becomes your right-hand man. And honestly, this one looks badass and awesome. This little piece here in the front really helps with Paonmaru. His face is nice. Gold goatee, or gold beard and goatee, looks amazing. Really just looks awesome. I like the axes. I like how they are used in the show. I like the boomerang attack. Really interesting, really unique. Honestly, this is probably my favorite combination thus far, but let's look at Surfermaru and UFOmaru. And here we are to our second Otomonin, UFOmaru, Shurikenjin UFO, or as the weeaboos like to pronounce it, UFOmaru. Yeah, weeaboos actually pronounce it like the Japanese say UFO. UFO. That is a thing. People are stupid. Honestly, the mono eye and the shuriken looks great on him. UFOmaru is kind of weird with little boots things, his clown shoes poking out. It's really hard to actually position the Otomonin in the loader, the dump Otomonin, just to have him nice and sitting like a normal human being. His feet are just propped up and it looks weird and adorable and cute at the same time. The gun, like I said, looks cool. I think it's really missing a lot of detail. I'm probably gonna go in there with Gundam markers and try to clean it up a little, because I feel like just this gold halo doesn't do it enough justice. It really doesn't, and I think it needs just a little bit more flair to it, just to look nicer and be more presentable when just displaying it in this form. That's why I kind of lean more towards Paon. Surfermaru is our last of the Otomonin in this set, and honestly, it looks kind of naked, especially due to the fact that its surfboard doesn't enlarge like it does in the show. Yeah, there's a bit of mass shifting with it, where it actually gets bigger to really hold Shurikenjin on it, and looking at it right now, it just looks weird, and it feels like it's going to fall over, because it's like he's riding a skateboard. And so since he looks normally naked in this form, I usually give him back his sword and shield, but that's really not necessary. I don't even think he uses any of these weapons in this form. This is the only form I've yet to see used in the show. Nevertheless, it looks nice, the actual Otomonin. The vehicle looks nice, but combined, not so much. But it's still interesting to have, own, and to complete the set, especially because Mini-Pla are super affordable. For my final evaluation, I gotta say, if you're able to get all three for a decent price, get them. If you want to just buy them in their single sets from places like CS Toys, do that. Because, honestly, I think this is your best chance of getting a really cool toy. Paonmaru is probably the best one. He's the one that's the most versatile with the Mini-Pla compared to his brethren, which are UFO Maru and Surfermaru. Now, probably people will agree with me that Surfermaru is probably a joke due to the fact his board is a lot smaller than it is on screen, so that's a reason to pass. And it really just comes down to either you want Paon or UFO, especially because they've been used more in the show thus far, I believe. Surfer came in quite late through the midway point, and I don't think he's going to be barely used as much. I don't even know how many times he's been used since his debut, except probably twice, maybe. Paonmaru's been used like 3 times. UFOmaru's been used like 4 times. So, right there, the best bet is just try to buy these 2 and skip out on him. I mean, no one really needs them. I mean, they packaged him 3 to box, so that kind of proves something. He's probably going to be the least used Otomonin in the goddamn show. Then again, he could be the most used one, like the Shield Russia or whatever. I don't know, it's confusing. They packaged it like the Tokyo box set from last year, and it annoys the hell out of me. Nevertheless, Mini-Pla are great. They're fun to have. You get to build them. It comes with a piece of candy, and you get to do so much with them. Honestly, that's why I enjoy them, and they're a lot cheaper than buying deluxe Mecha, and they have more points of articulation. That's like the win-win right there. Sometimes it's not best to buy them all, but you eventually regret it, so yeah, just go down that rabbit hole and deal with it later. Regret. A buyer and a collector's worst enemy. Nevertheless, this has been Mini-Pla Shuriken Gattai Volume 3. We'll see you next time with another ruling review.